Yesterday, the service for Don Wellner was at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Kellnersville. And yes, I did manage to find it. But the congregation was a mix of Roman Catholics and Protestants and a good number of United Methodists. At the end of the service, the organist, the keyboard person, looked up at me and with tears in her eyes said, "The people sang today. That was so wonderful. It was so spiritual. The people sang." I said, "Yeah, we United Methodists are known for singing." And Lakeshore sings better than most. She said, "Really? You're so lucky." And I had to agree. Yeah. So good singing, keep singing the Spirit of God, and let others be filled with the Spirit by your song. Well, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. That quote was written by Lewis Carroll. And the quote I would add to that is, "I hate wasting people's time and people's money." Those two quotes embody why planning is such a good thing. Planning tells us where we are, where we want to go, and what road we're going to take so that we finally get there. And one of the reasons why I love sharing ministry with this congregation is because Lakeshore Church believes in planning. When I arrived, one of the first things the leaders of the congregation showed me was the church's mission statement, which is, say it along with me if you know it, expand our ministries to Manitowoc County and beyond, making new disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. That mission statement would be, expand our ministries to Manitowoc County and beyond, making new disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. I'm going to keep saying it till you say it with me. Expand our ministries to Manitowoc County and beyond, making new disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Good job. We're going to keep going over it because last week, nobody remembered. Well, 2 years ago, over 60 members of our congregation gathered for 2 consecutive Saturday mornings in April to talk about where we believed God was calling us to go and how we were going to get there. At the time, we believed that God was calling our congregation to grow in faith, grow in participation, grow our Sunday school, and grow in our ability to care for those within and beyond our walls. And to get where we wanted to go, we said we would move all of our ministries into one building. We would balance our budget, and we would focus our programs on the fastest growing sector in our communities. That meant we would focus our programs on people who were 50 and older. We said we would complete the unification of our combined congregations by eventually building a space that combined our cultures and our important stuff within 10 years. Now, in the past 2 years, we have moved into one building, and by the grace of God and your generosity, as of December 2017, we balanced our budget. And to our surprise and the incredibly hard work of the Christian Education Committee, the segment of our congregation that grew the fastest was our Sunday school program. In 2 years, the Sunday school grew 1,031%. We have accomplished much together in 2 years. That means it's time to once again talk together as we ask God to guide us as we make plans for the coming 2 years. Now, our current reality, where we are, reveals a number of strengths and gifts that we can offer to God. This is a congregation that works hard to serve God and God's people. That is not common anymore. That is not usual. It is extraordinary to share ministry with a congregation that is willing to work hard to serve God and God's people. We have grown in our desire to listen to the Holy Spirit, and the mark of growth and faith and participation in a congregation is seen when members create and implement programs beyond what the committees and the teams are doing, but members come forward to say, "I would like to try this idea." And in the past 18 months, we have seen members approaching me with ideas for programs and ministries that fulfill our vision without negatively affecting our budget. And those same people, thanks be to God, are willing to take charge, plan, and turn ideas into ministry. And that, my friends, is the Spirit in motion. That is exciting. This is a group of Christians who want to be the church. In the past 2 years, we've gone from borrowing money from ourselves to support our budget to supporting the budget through giving, building use, and fundraising. 2 years ago, we had plenty of space to rent to outside groups. Today, the space that we have is needed for our programs, our ministries, and our activities. That's the movement of the Spirit, my friends. We are spending the money you give to God's work in the church as carefully and frugally as we can so that absolutely no money is wasted. And we're thinking about programs and ministries that fulfill our mission and vision so that no one's time or abilities are wasted. And fortunately, many, more than I can count on 2 hands, many of our members make this congregation and its ministry the prime beneficiary of their volunteer time. That's amazing. And I can tell you the leaders of this congregation do not ever want to waste your time or your gifts or your ability, because we believe that your time and your abilities are valuable gifts that should not be squandered. As we moved our ministries into one building, we were blessed with the merger of Emmanuel Congregation in Two Rivers. And we've been blessed by the presence of guests and visitors who have chosen to make Lakeshore Church their church home. And we are a better and a stronger church together than we ever were apart. As we combine ministries into one building, we're selling the properties that we're not using, and the money gained from those sales are going into a fund that hopefully will build the place where we can combine our cultures and our precious items into one location. At present, 1 church and 1 parsonage have been sold, which means we have 1 more church and 1 more parsonage to go. Prayers, please. Our current reality reveals that it is time for us to look once again at where we are going. Now, we could make the choice to rest on our laurels, or whatever it is we call our backsides. We could say that we've done enough and say, you know, God, we've done enough, don't ask us to do anything more. But here's the harsh reality. Churches that are not growing in faith and participation are dying churches. Churches do not ever stay the same. We are either growing in faith and participation, or we are starting to die. So that means we cannot do nothing. God has put us on this plot of land on Reed Avenue to fulfill the mission that God has given to us, which is to expand our ministries to Manitowoc County and beyond, making new disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Now, the book of Proverbs reminds us that any plans we make work only when we invite God to show us the direction. When we invite God to show us where we're going, and when we invite God to show us how to get there. So in the coming months, I invite groups of members and friends to meet to look at the demographics of our community and the communities around us. In other words, who are we now as a community? What's the biggest age group? What kind of worship are these folks interested in? What's the income of this demographic? How can we best serve the needs of the people in our communities and the needs of the communities around us? Groups will meet to assess our programs and ministries. Are we putting our time, our efforts, and our resources to the best use to fulfill our mission, which is to expand our ministry to Manitowoc County and beyond, making new disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world? Have I said that enough times that you know it now? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. You haven't joined in yet. In the coming months, a group will look at our building, our staff, and our financial resources as we think about the future ministries to which God is calling us. The leadership board and I will be calling on you all soon to help do the work of the task groups. So if you feel called to a group to look at demographics, to look at programs and ministries, to look at building, staff, or finances, you may as well talk to me now because I know where you live. So you may as well just step forward now and let me know, because on Saturday, and this is a date to take down, on Saturday, April 28th, that's Saturday, April 28th. I'll keep saying it till I see people writing it down. On Saturday, April 28th, anyone who is interested is welcome to join the leadership board and me in Fellowship Hall from 8:30 to noon as we talk together about where God is calling us to go in the next 2 years and what goals we will set so that we can get there. That's April 28th, a Saturday, from 8:30 to noon. So that we can talk about where we are, where God is calling us to go, and how God is going to help us get there. Because, friends, we do want to know where God is calling us and how to get there. Because any plans we make will not work unless God is part of those plans. Otherwise, friends, any road will do. And if we plan to go nowhere, it's exactly where we're going to end up. Amen.
Amen.